क्या हो गया? दर्द हो रहा है? पानी नहीं दो, नहीं दो पानी।
Every October, Delhi changes. The sky turns from blue to brown, the air gets thicker, and by November, the city starts disappearing. Step outside and it feels like someone's pulling your lungs inside out. Masks come back not for COVID but for survival. Flights get delayed, children stay home, and every Delhiite asks the same question again and again: why can't Delhi breathe? Sure, we blame stubble burning. We always do. Punjab, Haryana, farmers, smoke, fire. Same story, same headlines. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Even when the fields are not burning, Delhi air is still toxic. So if stubble burning lasts a few weeks, what's choking Delhi the rest of the year? To understand that, you have got to go back in time. Delhi's story didn't start with pollution, it started with power. When Shah Jahan built Old Delhi, it was for few lakh people, narrow lanes, gardens, courtyards. Then the British came in 1911 and made a new capital. Wide roads, planned colonies, fresh air. But after independence, Delhi stopped being a capital and became a dream. People came from everywhere, Punjab, UP, Bihar, Rajasthan, chasing opportunities, and Delhi kept absorbing, expanding and gasping. By the 1980s, the population had exploded, unauthorized colonies mushroomed, no drainage, no waste management, no plan. People burnt garbage for heat, industries popped up in residential areas, diesel generators filled the gaps that government left behind. When Delhi needed strict planning, it got political compromise. When it needed breathing space, it got construction and dust and traffic jams. Every government promised a master plan, but all we mastered was pollution. Today, Delhi has over 1.3 crore vehicles, more than Mumbai, Chennai and Kolkata combined. Every morning, thousands of trucks crawls through its borders. Add to that the cars, bikes, rickshaws, and you get a cocktail of carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxides, and PM 2.5. And yes, the Delhi metro is world class, but it's not enough. Then comes the smoke from the outside. Stubble burning. Yes, it adds to the crisis, but let's not pretend it's the full story. Because those farmers, they don't burn for fun. Machines like Happy Seeders cost lakhs. Subsidies come late. When the clock's ticking and the land needs clearing, then they burn. And the wind carries their desperation straight into Delhi's bowl-shaped geography, where it gets trapped by winter's cruel inversion effect. That's when cold air sits like a lid, locking in every pollutant. And Delhi turned into a gas chamber. But even after knowing all this, why does nothing change? Because fixing Delhi means upsetting Delhi. It means moving offices out of the capital. It means stricter laws that don't bend for money or influence. It means developing other cities so people stop flooding just one. But clean air doesn't win elections. It doesn't trend. It doesn't get vote. So we wait. We buy purifiers, we close windows, we normalize living in poison as if suffocation is just another season. But don't forget, Delhi has fought back before. In the 2000s, when buses and autos switched to CNG, the air got better. We saw the sky again. Then came complacency. More cars, more construction, less accountability. If we did it once, we can do it again with electric mobility, better waste management, and honest urban planning. We need trees, not towers. We need enforcements, not excuses. We need courage, not campaigns. So next time you wake up and see the grey Delhi sky, don't call it fog. It's our collective failure floating in the air. And it will only clean when our priorities do. Because Delhi doesn't need another air purifier. It needs a plan and the courage to follow it. Until then, Delhi won't just be gasping for air. It will be gasping for accountability.